Here we are, Clash of Sovereigns. It's Monday morning. Turkeys are beginning to wake up. I've dealt out the cards. France, 13 cards. They're only allowed 12. Don't know what is up with that. Prussians, I dealt out theirs. Turns out there's only 10 Prussian cards total, including this, which is what their starting hand is. And now the game starts with the Prussians playing Surprise Invasion event in step 4.33 of the 1740 early campaign right here. Let's see what it says and see what we follow. Play in early winter 1740 only. 4 CPs for Prussian bonus activations. 1 force must move into Silesia. If besieged, Glogau surrenders at the end of the turn regardless of any actual siege results. All activated forces must move into or take possession of a friendly force by end of turn and then suffer 10% attrition. A bunch of cards cannot be played to interrupt any of these activations. Austria 8, 9, and 21. The rules on interrupts. 2.3, 6.34, 6.55. Let's take a look. I don't know if you have to be belligerent to interrupt, because maybe the English can interrupt this. Can interrupt an activation by any power. Doesn't really say much. 6.34, 6.55. At least there's an index. Assuming it's right. An interrupt allows that card's event to be played. All conditions must be met. They allow a player to do something. Okay. And 6.55, player can only play 1 interrupt per activated enemy force per power turn. Sounds like each player could do that. There they are. I knew I heard them moving about. But can play multiple, and it's weird because it says a player, which means in the 2-player game there's different rules than in the 4-player game. What? Is that intentional? I don't know. But may play multiple interrupts in a single power turn if multiple enemy forces are activated. Well, okay. Redeployments at admin forces may not be interrupted. An interrupt can be played on an enemy's force, may cancel its activation or reduce its effects. So, because this card actually says I can't play certain interrupts, I remembered interrupts, and we'll go look for them. I doubt the Austrians have any that they're allowed to play. I'll look at them first because they're the most interested. Very interesting thing here, maybe I'm missing something, because I looked through the Austrians. They have 3 interrupts in their hand, 2 of which are covered by this, 1 which isn't but can't be used to affect the Prussians. But there's this playable when neutral up here on the British cards. Now these aren't interrupts, so I'm not going to worry about them. This one is cancel any one French activation. That's not going to be an issue. Fleet sortie's not going to help me. Okay. So none of these are going to help me, but I'm worried that maybe you can't play event cards when neutral. I thought you could. Each power can play 1 card as an event over here in the event card segment. You're going to have to look that up. Why there are cards that say playable when neutral on them. So this is the phase in power order. Each power may play 1 card as an event and enact its effects. However, forces cannot be activated in this phase that would apply to the non-belligerent capability to play cards. Makes it sound like you can play them. I've got a note here for 6.10. That's building fleet sections, okay. I could do that, but I could also play the card. I don't see anything that restricts you from playing event cards when neutral. If the one British card that I was looking at is something special, the one that says, maybe it's not the only one, there are a couple of them here, that says playable when neutral. Is something special, then you'd think that that would be spelled out somewhere in the rules. I was unable to find anything of that. I have a feeling a lot of the game is going to be that way, that there's going to be shit like that where there's like cards that imply some kind of rule that's not in the rule book, whatever. I don't know how many options there are for that kind of thing, but it just is what the game feels like, you know, in terms of what the quality of the rules is. Okay, so I have to try to, I have four command points. I have Frederick, and I'm supposed to try to take Glogau, but Glogau is kind of the easiest to take. I don't think I'm just allowed to move through Poland, even though... Ow, fuck! Oh, I just picked at a weird thing on my chest that I thought might be cancer or a Lyme's disease thing, but it seems to be neither. I think it was, I don't know, just some kind of blemish. But I could take Schweidnitz here. So to siege, what is the Second Army here? Second Army has a fair amount of stuff. Now, one of the British interrupts, no, one of the interrupts had to do with Hanover. There's such a pile of interrupts, they're going to get in my way. There's no question. Protocol of Neustadt. Play if French or Prussians have 10 or more SPs within 2 MP of Hanover. But this causes a -1 to the British monarch's will. I kind of don't want to play it, given that this card doesn't allow them into Hanover anyway. So Nassau, with his 7 points, if we look under siege rules, 22, is, I believe, able to siege. 22 is the page. Okay. I get confused because the index has it by rule number. The table of contents has it by page, which there is a certain convention to that, but you actually just wish it would follow one or the other, preferably the rule number. So I know I need to blockade, and I couldn't find any other limit, so at least 5 or 10. Okay. So if I move Nassau first, he'll get 5 action points. I can move 1, 2. Okay. And now I've used two of my action points. Is there an action point track? I thought there was one somewhere. I've got this. There may be a counter for this. I know in some games I've had things like that, but I want to keep track of my action points. So I had 5 action points. This allowed me 4 CPs. I think I can track the action points, but the CPs is going to be harder. So I'm going to put that there. I've got 2 additional CPs available, which is going to be Frederick, but don't worry about that. Okay. So I moved here 1, 2. He pulls into the fortress, I guess. He could not try to withdraw. Okay, this is the, hey, look things up because I don't know what the withdrawal rules are. I think it can only be done with a leader. Okay. Actually, it looks like I could be allowed to withdraw. So now, if I move 2 of my movement, it would only cost 1 to besiege a minor fortress. It's Glogau, right? Not Breslau. Okay. I think I'm gonna stay there because I want to force him to make the roll. So his third action point, he's got 5, will be on the siege table. And we got modifiers here. This is Prussians besieging, -1. That gets me to a 2. That's going to get me a +1 siege marker. Unfortunately, I have... Okay, so I have this here now, I guess. All right. So I would have gotten it automatically if he withdrew completely. So that was what? 1, 2, 3 of my activations. I still have 2 left. 4th is now at 0. Prussians aren't good at besieging, apparently. That's a 2. That gets me a +1 siege marker. And I don't know why I'm rolling. It's probably not to my best interest to keep rolling at this point. But I think there's a possible point to sieging. What happens? It surrenders. Surrenders is not clear. I don't want to get honors of war particularly. So I'm actually not going to keep sieging because I think it's to my disadvantage to do so. Now I'll use the 2 other activation points. We can see if there's an activation marker. I don't think there was one. To move Frederick. And Frederick will move his force 1, 2 down to Breslau. It's a minor fortress. I spend a 3rd and I capture Breslau. And I will drop off a strength point. That should give me 3 victory points. Okay, so let's count again. 1, 2, 3. We have enough to take Niessa, but I don't know if we want to. We've got a possibility of having to fight the Austrian army through an intercept. I don't believe there's any restriction on intercepting here, except that that can cause winter attrition, because this is a winter turn. As I'm trying to figure out everything, this one card, you know, throws you into a lot of the rules all at once, but okay. These are all fortresses here. What would that major fortress do? Major fortress gives a -1. Let's try to move to Glatz. Okay, let's count again. 1, yeah. I need a counter for this. So he had 7 points. He spent 1, 2, 3. He has 4 left. Yeah, I need basically 2 counters. One for the amount of CPs that are available. This card gave 4. That was 2 and 2. That's fine. But now I also have to track the APs that are available. Let me see if there are counters for this. I don't see any. Now under sieges, what was the effect of that successful siege? Let's go back to sieges. 15.4. I know that there's something that causes you to get 4 more SPs causes you to get a major victory and cause some morale will. Okay. What's my chance of taking Nyssa? Because I would rather take a major fortress. I have a bunch of siege rolls. I'm going to move into here. He's going to try to intercept. Let's look up interception. Not interrupt. Interception 9.0. And the commander has no rating. He needs a 7 or higher. He's not going to be able to get any kind of interception. He doesn't have enough of a bonus. So Frederick made it there. He's got... Oh, this is a major fortress, though. Do I want to attack it? Yeah, let's have gone here instead. Okay. And now we spend 1 for our siege. We're at -1 for being Prussian. We have no other factors. We get a 1. Besieger loses a point. And there is a siege marker. Now I have to make my change. Fuck. Yeah, this is a matter of table space. Okay, now I'm down to 9 infantry strength points, but I still think I'm okay. Because I think I needed... it's a minor, I only needed 5. And what else happened? And I get a +1 siege. Marker there. Technically it was a 0 siege marker. I'll go again because this one I actually have to win. I'm at 0. I get a 6. That's a breach. It surrenders. And we kill that Austrian, which again is just gone. We've taken Silesia. Let me count my things, make sure I'm right. I came from here, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. We took Breslau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1 more point. what could I do with that one more point? I could fall back from Breslau, or from Glatz to Breslau, which is more important. I'll leave a strength point there. Siege marker's gone. I should be up 4 more victory points. I should be up a total of 5 victory points. I didn't have that. No, I should be up a total of 4. Because I haven't taken Glogau yet. But now, Glogau surrenders, which is not in honors of war. So there's one more. I might have been able to advance further had I gotten more or something. And now I take 10% attrition to each of my forces. Nassau has 7 strength points, so he loses a strength point. And of course, the Prussians only get, 4 infantry and a cav each year. And Frederick, with his main army, also loses a strength point. %10 of 1 is not going to be a loss. This card is gone. It's done. It can't be played again. So I'll toss it over there for now. Remove Warn and DM. Winter Quarters evicted movement. I am not evicted. Let's look at the first turn special rules, because I think we go somewhere else after this. Surprise invasion. He must play this event. It's the only activation by any power that may occur. After the Prussian rally, we did that. Play then proceeds directly to the early winter event card phase, which will be here. Each power in turn can play an event. I'll go look at the Prussians, see what they want to do. It's kind of interesting, the Spaniards, again, they're a power, they don't have their own cards. And during part of the game, during significant parts of the game, they will not be playing any active hand of cards. As far as I can tell, the French get to decide, and it has nothing to do with the color on the cards. But I don't know. I really don't know. I don't see why the French are going to give the Spaniards a lot of activity when they can just seize it all themselves. But if you look at the rules for the event cards, well, for strategy cards, they can be played in different ways. There's nothing that specifies the use of color, except there's one place where it does, and it's the Piedmont strategy. Certain cards in the British deck are printed with light blue. If Piedmont becomes a Bourbon ally, they become French. All remaining Piedmont cards are either shuffled into the French player's deck or pulled. They may say Piedmont only or something like that. I get the feeling the color is supposed to be used by that player. But I'm not positive. Well, I don't know. Yeah, see, I'm looking at the Piedmont cards. Certain cards, if Piedmont, his hand doesn't extend, all remaining Piedmont are either shuffled into the wider. The French player must have to live with the fact, no, this is not what it is. I remember something that said you can kind of ignore the color on some of them. As if there was some rule that said there was an effect of the color. I don't see any effect on the card itself. It doesn't tell me anything. Like, Yes, the event is going to have to do with the nation involved. So, like, all the Spanish cards have to do with Spanish events. But it's not clear that the points can only be played for them or not. I'm not seeing it here. I'm going to have to look elsewhere. Yeah, so here, each card's CP can be used to activate commands, make blah, 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 for that power or any of its allies, unless specific restrictions are on the card. It is not necessary to play, here it is. It is not necessary to play a Piedmont color card in order to activate Piedmont forces or have them conduct admin marches. They can also do so by playing any allied powered cards for CPs. Well, not any ally. I'm assuming just the Brits. I don't think the Austrians can play their cards for it. And the fact that it calls it out for Piedmont makes me wonder, okay, does that mean that the Piedmont cards must be used for Piedmont? God, this game sucks. Like the rules. Each power has its own subdivided. They shuffle the wider. Nationality color is stated here. Does that have any effect? It's not specified in here. The only rule that I've found that has anything to do with it is some sort of feeling like Piedmont is loosened. Hi. I think it was a squirrel. It sounds like Piedmont's been loosened from some restriction that maybe is implied that you can use any color. I'm going to look at the errata, see if there's anything new on this. Because it really, you know, I mean, look, this thing came out in December 2023. There's been a significant amount of time since that printing. This came to me this year, but I don't fucking know. Like, good God. Just what a royal mess this game is. So there's what appears to be a post-December 2023 errata packet. It's another 8 pages, but only 4 of them are really errata. So people make fun of Armada, man. It's got nothing on this, okay? Armada was completely understandable, and you could very likely, it was mainly clarifications. People made fun of it because it had like more than a page of errata. It's one of the horror stories of the SPI days, okay? Nowhere near as bad as Avalon Hill's stuff, but okay. I can't find anything relating to this. I'm going to look again for questions and whatnot. The stuff that I saw in the errata, some of it was clarifications on individual cards. A fair amount, like 1 page, was clarifications on the theater command stuff, all of which I feel like I can get pretty close to what they intend without looking at the errata, okay? Much like the Armada stuff. I got no idea, though, about these colors on the card. You know, there's an implication here that nationality color might have something to do with who can play the card and who can't, and I just feel like I'm like missing something. You know, there are games I was recently playing Piacenza, and you know, somebody pointed out that my finger was right next to the roll that I wanted, and I'm sure that happens regularly. I don't see it here. I just don't see it. And, you know, there's a lot of rules. I was looking for this. I was looking for this rule all along, and I just am not finding it. And now on a reissue, because I'm actually trying to play, I'm not finding it. I'm going to see if there's some kind of clarification in questions or something like that. It didn't make it into the errata. But good God, And then there's this may play while neutral cards. What the hell? You know, what the fuck? It's like there's lots of stuff that's just missing from the game. I don't know. I don't know if this is a playable game as written. I don't know how anybody could have given this a rating of any value. It feels like an unplayable mess right now. Through the card play questions up on BGG, there seem to be some answers at least. Like I said, I think I said, there's an implication in Kalinkowski's responses that the playable when neutral do kind of imply that any cards that don't say that, even though it's not in the rules or anything, any cards that don't say that are not. This, as an example, looks like a card you would be allowed to play when neutral. Right? There's nothing that seems to prevent it. George II confirms Hanover's neutrality. Neither side may place or move any units. That sounds like something you would really want to do while neutral, and you probably wouldn't want to do when not. It has its expenditures and its cost and whatnot. I just don't know. Anyway, like, that is clearly a card that my feeling is Hanover declaring its neutrality in the German issues makes perfect sense both while at war and while not at war. Although, what's really disturbing about it, if we take a look at it again. Now note, that's one that does not say negotiations, being able to move Piedmont towards the pragmatics. I would say that should be able to be played. You know, there's nothing in that that kind of prevents you from playing it when neutral. You'd be pushing either Piedmont or Russia towards the Austrians because you're already kind of aligned with them in an anti-French, anti-Prussian position. So that would make some sense. I don't know why, you know, these diplomatic cards wouldn't be playable when neutral. You know, you're giving subsidies to Austria, right? Why would you not be able to do some of this other stuff? But this one I'm more iffy about. Okay, so this is a really interesting one. This card or Protocol of Neustadt must be played before the British player can play any other diplomacy events involving any other powers. Well, that's fucking useful. Thanks for telling me that on this card that might be over there in the deck. Maybe they both are, but I think the Protocol of Neustadt was one I looked at. That did not have this restriction on it. That does not have any restriction on it. Yeah, that does not tell me any of this shit. So, good God. I mean, why am I looking at the British cards? I don't know, because I knew that there was a play while neutral card here, but now I don't think you know, if I'm following that road, this is just a fucking mess. You have to memorize and know what all the cards say on them to be able to know that you have this restriction on playing other diplomatic cards. Now, I have this in my hand, so I know it. But this is bullshit, man. This is not a CDG. You know? Good Lord. You can't put rules that prevent you from playing other cards on a card that you may not have in your hand. You know, and I mean, I don't care if you have it in your hand or not. You can't. There would have to be a rule on every diplomatic card saying cannot play until X and Y. This is fucking ridiculous. Where was the one I was looking for? I don't remember now. Who's Fleury? Is he a French general? I have Belle-Ile. I have Maliboy. I have Broglie. I have Louis. I have de Sax. I don't have a Fleury. It says I can only play this if Fleury is alive. When does Fleury die? How do I know that he's dead? Is there like, on the back of here, is there a Fleury dies? I don't see anything that kills him. Maybe, you know, maybe in all kinds of stuff. This says playable when neutral, fine. Play if Fleury is still alive. How do I know if he's alive? I'm assuming he's French. He doesn't appear to be... Oh, maybe... No, that's just a Sax. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a counter for him or anything like that. Why... Is there something over here? I have Charles Stewart and I have another de Sax. I don't have any counter for Fleury. Apparently he's someone who can die who's not in the game. No. Good Lord. I mean, it's like there was no sense done in this. Fleury's obstruction. Play if Fleury is still alive. How do I kill Fleury? Can the French kill him? He seems like an asshole. Okay, here's subsidy to Austria. This is not a diplomatic. This can be played, yeah. So this one I might want to do. Fleury's intransigence doesn't require him to be alive. Doesn't seem to kill him. Yeah, so this was the other one I was looking for, the Protocol of Neustadt, which doesn't have any restriction, doesn't have that additional note on it. It's quite possible both of those could be in here anyway, but only one of them has the information on it. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I just don't know what to do. Like, this game is so clearly broken in so many fucking ways. Part of me says, just kind of play it. But do I ignore these half-supported instructions? You know, so like there's instructions in the rules that seem to imply something. There are things that common sense seems to imply, like this yellow card should probably be Spanish command points. Otherwise, why are the French ever going to help the Spaniards? Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't have anything they really want to do, whatever. But, yeah, they control the Spanish card play entirely. But if they can use those points however they like, are they going to help Spain? Can Spain ever win? What? Good Lord. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded. I can't believe this thing got through any kind of playtesting. Anything. Because it really is an incomprehensible set. Like, and, you know, I'm torn between clean it up and just say it's unplayable, and you got fucked. You know, you got burned. I mean, this is a level. How many fucking developers did they need? Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. I think people kept quitting on development. Somewhere or another, we had the list of the whole, and it's sad to say there's names I recognize on there. Yeah. Where did we have it? I don't know. There were like 3 different developers in the game. And that is also not, yeah, here we go. No, I'm sorry, there were 4 developers in the game. And I'm left with the, okay, did people just like end up quitting and saying fuck? Okay, we got a playtester who is one of the developers. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And it appears to me that they only had one playtest team. We got here this and this dash, and then it spells them out. So this was an incredibly insular little group. This is not what I'd expect, right? You know? Yeah. I don't know what producers are. We got a whole bunch of them too. I don't know. I am just left with this. I don't think this is a playable game, and I don't think that there's a way to make it like easily playable. Can you play it not by the... Can I have fun playing it ignoring the shit I don't like? You know? What game do I make out of it? What do I do? I don't know. I'm torn. All right, well, let's... Yeah. I was really worried about this when I read the rules. You know, before I started reading them to you, when I read the rules, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of questions here. And when I saw the cards, just not that one so much, but the presentation of some of these, the amount of text on them, etc., that's a problematic situation. But it's like, it's just, yeah, I think, I don't know what to say. Yeah, whatever producers are, we got some big names here, right? Tony Curtis is always production. I don't know if they're just like people who are, because we got like Gene Billingsley involved, Simonich involved. I don't know Andy Lewis, but Roger McGowan. These are all like big shots. And graphics people and whatnot at GMT. I am not used to them getting credits, but I don't know. I could look at another GMT game and see, yeah, let me pull another one out and take a look. I looked at another recent, an 18XX actually, and yes, there's the same kind of production setup there. So I think that's more involved with like getting the game packaged and together. So yeah, because these are names that if they saw a failing project like this, I would think they would have the balls, especially Gene Billingsley, you know, would have the balls to step in and say, look, this game just isn't working. But I doubt that they were at all involved in it, to tell you the truth. To all us 70s gamers, as the world we knew is erased, lots of words. Nothing which, you know, I don't remember many 70s games being this much of a mess. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at what I think is a single playtest team that probably got too involved in the system, and no indication of blind testing or anything. And then we look playtest Vassal module. We got somebody who's specifically the main designer who is not there, but Kevin Conway is up here in the playtest group and is apparently involved in that. That's fine. Kevin Davidson is not on any of these lists for final Vassal creation and test run. Presumably, somebody had to hold their hands to make the Vassal module work, because you can't create a Vassal module without understanding the rules. But and maybe I had to pull the Vassal module down, and maybe it would, maybe this is the way people are being able to play this effectively, is that like it's enforcing rules on them somehow. Things like you can't move, French units using a Spanish colored card in the French deck, even though the rules themselves aren't good at that. But I'm looking at the physical copy of the game, and I just am like, I don't think you're able to play it, without a whole lot more present. All right, well, we will keep trying, because it's all set up and we put a lot of fucking effort in, and I can't see just bailing at this point. But we're going to be playing God knows what, because I have the feeling I'm going to be making, decisions on the rules. For example, the only reason that I know that I can't play diplomacy cards is because I happen to be holding a card that I'm required to play. And, there's this events checklist, but it doesn't tell you that, like, this particular event by Britain, which one was it? Well, Protocol of Neustadt is one of them. That's not even on here? Oh, this isn't a use once. Wow. For a year, okay. But there was another one. Yeah, but that can't be played. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Like, Kalinkowski indicated that you can't play the cards that don't say playable while neutral while you're neutral. You can't play the ones that don't say it while you're neutral, which again doesn't necessarily seem right. If I'm willing to give subsidies to Austria, why am I not willing to induce proxies like the Russians or the Piedmontese into the war? I don't know. I just don't know. It seems like those would be playable. So I think I'm going to play it as loosely as I possibly can in terms of restrictions that are available that occur from cards. And we'll see. In the event card phase, Prussia and Austria are both belligerent at this point. Treaty of Breslau. France and Prussia are allied and may combine forces when both are belligerent. Well, that's not helpful. Although it does hurt national will. A major campaign doesn't help me. Major campaign won't help me. Defensive pact. Roll a die. Move. Play fall 1741 or later. Discard another card to play this. Well, can't do that. Pillage the enemy. Not playable when Prussia is neutral. Prussia's never new. Oh, no. They can get knocked out. Okay. Calm down. Play if you have a major force in any enemy-colored space. Place a depot, roll a die. I don't want to place depots. I don't want to do any of that shit. Pillage the enemy. Same thing. Firing with fearsome rapidity. Got to remember about battle cards, too. Augustus Overawed. Play in 1742 or later if Prussia is still belligerent. Yeah. Buderbrock and Waldau. Sounds like... Okay. Prussia can't do anything. Let's take a look at what Austria might be able to do. Keep hearing weird noises. There's a battle card. Depots, don't want to do that. Regaining the crown, as per 6.8.1. Okay, I don't think I'm allowed to play this yet. Until Charles is dead or something, or crowned or something. When Charles has been crowned, okay. We can't play this, so this is just points for me for now, and that's not useful. Convention of Turin, 1742 or later. Why are these early? Hesitation. Treaty of Berlin, 1742. No. Roll a die. Okay, this one looks useful. Summer of 1741. Spring of 1741 or later. Maybe played in any late winter. Yeah. I think we jump over late winter. Play of 2 or more CH are in the raid box. In the CH raid box. Okay. Gives me more of those. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Same thing. Alright, we'll play negotiations. I'm assuming there's no interrupt that affects the negotiations. I might be wrong. I don't want to go pawing through everybody's hand looking for an interrupt. I mean, it would just be France's hand. Fine, we'll look. Not have one. So we roll a die here. On a 1 through 3, we move Piedmont's marker towards the pragmatics. We do not. And I guess we'll put discards next to the country. Again, I'm tight on space. So that's Austria's card play. We go to the French. Let's take a look. I'm sorry, both the Bourbons. One Spanish victory point, -1 British. Well, that sounds promising. I don't want to sea transport. I'm not at war, so... If played in as an event, remove. Play after Empire Diplomacy event. That didn't happen. See, that's how you do it. You say some other card has to have been done. Empire Diplomacy. Now, it would be helpful for this to have information that it is useful on the other. Move SA influenced marker 2 spaces towards Bourbons and move BV 2 spaces towards Bourbons. Allow play of Belle Ile Triumphant. This doesn't say play when neutral. But again, I'm being as unrestrictive as I possibly can. Choose Saxony or Piedmont and roll a die. 1 to 5 for Saxony, 1 to 3 for Piedmont. Move it 1 towards the Bourbons. This is, again, doesn't say played as an event, remove. Play of France, Bavaria, control Munich, Passau, and Frankfurt. They do not. They control Munich. They don't control Frankfurt. I don't know where Passau is. I think it's in New Jersey. There it is. Modena allies with the Bourbons. Play after France enters the war. See, now this makes sense. It doesn't say... It gives me a specific exclusion. Of course, it happens to be a Spanish card, which may... Well, Spain and France are in the war at the same time, I think. New leaders, new armies, new fronts. It doesn't sound like something I want to do outside of war. Nymph rewards. Play after Treaty of Nymphs. Yeah, fuck that. Maria's Consanguinaire. French places A.U. Charles as CIC of largest force in Austria, Germany, Prussia, or Saxony. He must command that force all year. Where's Charles? So I think Charles is on the map already, right? No, Charles isn't in yet. Now he's a 2-star commander, which means he's gonna have to be in command anyway. So I don't know that this does a damn thing. I really don't know that this has any effect. Like, I think the rules already force him to be in command of something. Okay. So I have basically 3 cards, and I haven't had to discard cards yet. I haven't hit whatever phase it is. So I definitely want to play a French card. Which one? Well, I can give victory points. That's nice. That loses me a card. Move SA 2 spaces towards and BV 2 spaces towards Bourbon. Allows Belle Ile. Yeah, we're gonna play this diplomacy. Does it make sense? You could argue that the diplomacy wouldn't make sense until they're at war, but you could argue the other way as well. Since I don't have an answer to my question, obviously, since I just asked it, I'm going to follow the rules as they're written. So I'm going to play this. Move SA influence 2 spaces towards Bourbon. Oh, how about that? There is no Spanish. That's the wrong thing. Okay. 2 spaces towards Bourbon. Saxony would join the Bourbons, but they're not at war. And Bavaria 2 spaces towards Bourbon. I don't think Saxony would join the war. So this is why I think maybe you can't play these. But fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. And now we look, is Empire, Diplomacy. Oh look, it's a Spanish. Empire Diplomacy does not have to be marked, which is weird because we had a card here. Play after Empire Diplomacy event in summer campaign season 1741 or later. But whatever. I am not entering Saxony in the war, because, and I think this is an argument that card should not be playable, but whatever. Anyway, that's the French. That'll put me to the British and Allied forces, and we'll look through them. Martin's ultimatum. Transfer all Naples SPs back to Naples. They may not leave. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Negotiations. Possible. Again, it doesn't have the may play when neutral, but I just can't accept cards that, like, you have to have the card in your hand that tells you can't play other cards to know. I could build up my fleet. It's not a bad idea. Flurry's obstruction. Well, I'm assuming Flurry's still alive. Fleury's Jealousy. Remove Belle-Ile, place Broglie in that space. Yeah, we don't want to do that yet. Court Politics. Remove Belle-Ile, make roll as above. Yeah, I don't know. Dresden Const must be played before the British player can play any other diplomacy involving any other powers. Well, that's pretty interesting. So I think as long as I have this in my hand, I don't think I can play any diplomacy. If that had not been in my hand, I think I wouldn't notice it, so who cares? So I will have to throw all diplomacy. I could give a subsidy to Austria, which is actually playable when neutral. Fleury's Intransigence is 1741. Play a French or Prussians have... Yeah, this one I did not want to do. So, hold off on that. I think my big choices are the Dresden Conference, putting lots of forces down there. Now, George II... I don't know. We'll play the subsidy to Austria. Why not? It's a big card. It's a one-time event. Does that mean it gets removed? Ooh, do I want to lose a big card? It's got an M, which means something. I don't remember what M means. It says one-time event, but it doesn't say remove. But it does have M. M is clarified in the errata I looked at. I'll be back. M means there's a marker, and I knew that there was a marker. I just didn't think about it as being that. Shit. And so this goes in the Austrian thing here. This is a one-time event. It's not marked here. I don't remember. Does one-time event mean the card is removed? If not, I don't know what to do with it. Like, that would be the normal way of handling it, but I remember something weird about one-time event, like I don't know how I could cope with it otherwise. Playing strategy cards, events, restriction, one-time event may only be played once as an event card. Some cannot be played. Okay, so this does not say remove if played. However, subsidy to Austria. Oh, it is marked there. Okay, good. Gotcha. Yeah. So subsidy to Austria will be marked. I have to pull out a piece of paper or something. I don't think I'm going to photocopy this. I'm too disgusted by the game right now to really care. So I will just start copying it over and crossing and writing down the things I played. Put the subsidy marker in the reinforcement box. Prussia loses a point of monarch will. This card goes to the discards because unlike other CDGs, this takes care of, hey, I can't play it again because it's marked down. Okay. And we've played everybody through there. We get the end phase, advance the season marker, remove all CHs not stacked with AU, remove all guerrillas. Okay. So, the season marker means we go into here. We got some words up there. You should probably read them. Anything that the game gives me as a clue I want. The redeployment phase and draw segment are skipped in spring 1741. Only the Austrians and Prussians received reinforcements in spring 1741. I almost knocked over all my counters there. So, the redeployment and draw are skipped. Wait. Alright. Got too many fucking pieces of information here. I need the playbook here, because we got special rules. The game starts with all this. After the Prussian rally, play then proceeds directly with the early winter event card phase. We did that. The spring 1741. So we actually go not to spring yet, but late winter, New Year's. Advance the turn marker, remove fog of war, place reinforcement leaders, demote Conti, deploy fleet sections. Okay. All right. I'm set. Oh, fuck. This pen is like totally busted. I've got like ink all over my finger. Alright, we'll throw that out. I'm going to load this up. This will give you an idea what starting the game is like. You know? We had a fucking 5-hour rules wade through just because there's so much so fucking wrong with this. And yeah, I'm finding that trying to actually play it is just as problematic as it looked like it was going to be.